those who participate, including we have Starbucks gift cards and we have 2 books donated by Chanel Pruitt here, our guest speaker. So what I'd like you to do is, who has a cell phone in this room? Okay, great. I'd like you to put it away, right? Because we want to be respectful and we're so grateful for the speakers that we got today and the moderators. So our moderators today are ifmaKC, who's a ifmaKC member, and Haley Clemens, who gave us a great shout out actually on LinkedIn and all the stuff. So they're gonna be interacting with you all in the room. And so I'm gonna start with their bios, and then we've got a special guest, Julie Robinson, who's kind of working through some transition. She's gonna talk to you about kind of what's happening in her life right now. And then Janelle Agnos, who also recently has had some transition. She sent me a note to read to all of her friends here in this room. So Rochelle is Corporate Director for Mid-America Contractors and Certified PHR. Her career journey is in masterclass professional growth, ranging from her time as a compensation analyst at Sprint to her leadership at KC Restoration. Because she has sat in several seats related to the HR, from generalist to corporate director, she knows exactly what makes the resume look good, land on top of the pile, and get you selected. Our friend Haley. So Haley is a people first leader, director of business development, has a strong foundation for HR operations, organizational growth, has spent 6 years at Nebraska Furniture Mart as a hiring manager, operational leader, and is focused on empowering the teams. She later expanded her HR and workforce strategy into Inspirity, which is an HR consulting company, partnering with organizations to strengthen their people operations through strategic growth, HR, talent development, and compliance solution. She believes that leadership visibility matters, and that success isn't about success isn't just about who you know, but who knows you and how they associate you with your name. Thank you, Haley. And then our guest speaker, Janelle Pruitt, is experienced HR capital leader with strong background in talent strategy, organizational development, employee engagement within the financial services industry, more than 15 years of progressive HR experience. Janelle is known for her practical, people-first approach, using leadership, her ability to translate strategy into accountable results. She owns her own company called Summitivity. Yeah. Summitivity. Talk about the name when you get up here. That's awesome. Your HR partner, HR consulting and outsourcing firm dedicated to helping organizations build strong people strategy and scalable HR solutions. Janelle is passionate about developing teams, fostering inclusive environments, helping organizations to adapt in evolving workforce trends. She enjoys sharing her insight with talent like we have here today, leadership, and building a resilient organization. So thank you, Janelle, for sharing your time today. And we did this because we believe it's important that you know who is helping you today. I would love to introduce our past president, Julie Robinson. Thank you for sharing your time, Julie.
I'm used to this. So most of you know me through this organization, which I've been a long-standing member. I achieved my CFM 22 years ago. So that gives you an idea of my longevity here in the Kansas City area. My first role in Kansas City was with Scout Rice, which is now called Circadia. I did workplace planning there, and my background is in interior design. From there, I was recruited to 2 other companies, Facilitine and FM Extension, where I was contracted to do project and relocation management. And then while I was there working on projects, Facilities Peer recommended me for a property management role. I was like, I'll go interview for that. So I interviewed for it, and the feedback was, oh, this job really isn't for you, but we do have a job that we will recommend you for at one of our clients. So I interviewed for that job. Again, I wasn't really looking, but you take the opportunities when they come to you. So I interviewed and I was offered the job, and that job was at H&R Block. So I worked on the corporate headquarters building there, and then I remained there for 18 years, building my career. And sorry. So was there for 18 years, managed facilities, reporting to 11 different VPs and directors. Facilities was the hot potato. So I moved back and forth between finance and IT. So I learned a lot in a lot of different departments, which was a great experience. Then I was recruited to Community American Credit Union in 2023. I went there and it was a great job. Everything was going really well until we merged with another credit union, and they brought in the Bobs. And if you know who the Bobs are, those are the organizational consultants. So basically, you're a name and a number on a piece of paper. So it doesn't really matter how much effort you put in, who you know, who you've impressed, who you've taken care of, how much money you've saved. I saved $2 million in one project, more than my salary multiple times for years. Sorry.
We love you, Julie.
They came back in January with their results and recommendations, and I went in for my annual review, and I walked in, and who was in there? HR. So when I walked in the door, I knew this was not going to end well. They told me my job was eliminated, and I couldn't possibly understand why. I was completely shocked. It was a gut punch. I was more experienced than the peer facilities manager at the other credit union. I obviously had had a good track record. I'd never even had a bad review. I've never been fired. I've never been laid off. So I was just dumbfounded. And I asked, what is the reason? We're going a different direction. That was the extent of the information that I could get. So with that and my very small package that they provided, by the way, if it happens to you, try to negotiate for more. You can always ask. You never know. So now I am out and about looking for something. I'm sorry to be emotional about this, but when you've had a very long and successful career, to be hit with this is really devastating. And I know probably most people in this room have either experienced it, their partner has experienced it, their brother or sister has experienced it. It's the way of the world right now with companies. Whether or not they say your family, you're still just a number on a piece of paper, which is really, really sad. That's not how I treated any of my team members or my vendors. So it's been a real eye opener to what happens, even if you've been a great performer for many, many years. So I immediately contacted my peers, my well-connected peers in IFMA. I'm also a member of Crew Kansas City, and put the word out that I'm out looking for something. And so now I'm taking the time to really evaluate what I want to do going forward and the kind of company that I would like to work for going forward. So if you haven't caught on, my theme here is connections. Every job I've received, I've had the opportunity to move to, has been through a connection, either someone I had worked for, someone I worked with, or through a peer network like this that has recommended me for a role. So my comment is keep your network alive and keep them close.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate that. Is it getting real at this point? I think so. So this, what I'm gonna read, I won't do it justice.
It's amazing. Good job.
So this is a letter from Janelle Agnos, who was with GSA, went through the Doge cleansing, is now with Sodexo, is running the Pembroke Hill campus. And so she was unable to be here today, but was gracious enough to share her experience, as was Julie. Dear friends, 7 lessons I learned from an unexpected layoff. I never thought I would need a backup plan. After 18 years of federal service, I loved what I did. I had balance. I was interviewing for a GSA 15 leadership role over the facilities management division. I had just turned 40, fully expecting to retire from my agency. And then I didn't. When I lost my job, the shock was real. It wasn't just about income, it was my identity. It took time to process, and once I could think clearly again, I started reflecting here on the 7 lessons that this experience had taught me. Stability is not a strategy. You can be a high performer, you can love your job, you can be on track for promotion, and still the decisions are outside your control that can change everything in your life. I learned that I have my own career, even when things don't feel secure. Always keep your resume ready. I hadn't updated mine in the private sector in over 20 years. That was overwhelming. I knew that even if you're happy where you're at, you need to update your resume every year. Capture your wins while they are fresh. Translate what you do into a language that could be understood for those not in facilities. Your LinkedIn profile matters more than you think. I hadn't touched mine in many years. And in today's world, visibility matters. Opportunities don't just come from applying, they come from being seen. The networking that Julie had referenced earlier. Build relationships before you need them. The one was everything to me. I had been involved in ifmaKC since 2020. At the time, I had joined the professional development committee, and the connections were everywhere. I didn't realize I was building something more important than just my job opportunities. When I lost my job, the IFMA community showed up. People reached out, they checked in, they reviewed my resume, they shared job leads, they encouraged me when I felt my lowest. That support reminded me of why a professional organization matters. ifmaKC wasn't just a line on my resume, it was my network of real relationships. And those relationships made one of the hardest moments in my career more manageable. For that, I'm incredibly grateful. Know your skills and how they translate. For years, my experience lived inside the federal framework, but leadership, facilities, oversight, budgeting, strategy, those skills are all transferable to other industries and other sectors. We just have to learn how to articulate what we do and how to brag on ourselves. Keep developing even when you're comfortable. Certifications, technology, financial skills, leadership growth. When you stop investing in yourself, in your development because you feel secure, you're slowly narrowing your options. Build opportunity, not just security. It might be the biggest one. I used to think security meant staying somewhere for long term. Now I understand that real security means having choices. When you know you can pivot, even when you don't want to, you lead differently. You carry yourself differently. You make decisions differently. What I know now, losing my job wasn't part of my plan, but it forced me to take ownership of my career in a deeper way. And here's the encouraging part. Investing in yourself doesn't mean living in fear. It means building confidence. It means building relationship. It means building skills. It means building a community, because when the unexpected happens, and sometimes it does, you don't stand alone. And I'm living proof of that. So I'm gonna cry myself. Okay. Haley and Rochelle will take it from here.
So I definitely want to start, he says, yep. I definitely want to start with saying thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that with us. I understand that most things that happen in life, you're like, what in the world? But you do have a really large circle around you, and if there's anything we can do to help, for sure. So I did want to start with something that's a little fun and a little reflective before we pass it off to our guest speaker today. But when we were younger, we always dreamed of being something when we grew up. So I don't know if you all want to take a moment to really think about back when you were in kindergarten, what you wanted to be. My son, he's 12 now. When he was in kindergarten, he wanted to be a police officer. I was like, absolutely not. But, so I don't know if you, same thing with elementary school, then to high school, did that change? And then today, how many of you in this room are doing what you thought that you would be doing back then? The show of hands. Did anyone know what they wanted to be when they were growing up and are actually doing it right now? Does anyone want to share what they wanted to be when they grew up, when they were in elementary school or grade school? Yeah.
I wanted to be Barbie because Barbie did everything.
We did.
Oh, you didn't hear? Okay.
We all wanted that.
I wanted to be Barbie because Barbie did everything.
Well, now you may have that chance. I know that in Bonner Springs, they're building the Mitel Adventure Park, so who knows? Put that out there. Anyone else want to share?
I wanted to be a baseball player. No, I don't know. Yeah. An astronaut. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty lame. I just wanted to play baseball and play with George Brett, but obviously that never happened.
I can speak loudly, but when I was 8, I had a very clear, we drove past a car wash and I thought it looked really fun to wash cars. And that's what I wanted to do for a couple of years. That obviously changed, but.
I thought that was amazing. I wanted to be a teacher, but then when I seen what their salary was when I got to high school.
Yep. I was voted most likely to interrupt and topic, so I thought I was gonna be a teacher as well.
I wanted to be a criminal psychologist.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Now we know.
Along the lines of Katie's, I told my stepmom who was like 30, and keep in mind, I loved Legally Blonde. My dog's name was Bruiser. I was gonna be a lawyer.
I could see that. So, obviously,
But he had real ones.
very few careers follow a straight line. So some of us dreamed of something completely different. Some of us discovered new passions along the way, and some of us are still evolving and still figuring it out. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's actually a good thing. So one of the most powerful things about professional life is that you are allowed to grow. You are allowed to pivot, and you are allowed to reinvent yourself multiple times. So as we go through today's conversation, I want everyone to keep that in mind. Your next chapter might not look what you imagined it to look like years ago, but that doesn't mean it isn't exactly where you're meant to be.
Right, am I on? I'm on?
Yeah.
Okay. You're up, Janelle.
I'm up, okay. Thank you. And that's such a fun exercise to go through and hear what everybody wanted to be and what they wanted to do when they grow up. And so thanks for having me today. I'm excited to be here. Let's see, before we jump in, I'll kind of give a little bit of information about me personally and about me professionally. Personally, I lived in Olathe for 31 years. I love Olathe, Kansas. I love the Kansas City area. I've been married to my husband for 31 years as well. He's a mechanical engineer by background. He works at refineries and he travels to where refineries are. And he has worked for the same company for just about his whole career. He stepped away for a small amount of time, worked at Black and Beach, and then went back to where he's at now. And not many of us can say that, but his career evolved throughout that time too. We have 2 kids. My daughter Haley is 25. She lives in Kansas City area. Our son Coleman is 28. He lives in Phoenix. He went to Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, graduated, and said, "I'm never going back to Kansas." We get to go visit him, and that's a lot of fun. So that is just a little bit about me personally. Professionally, my career journey, 30 years of work experience and 20 plus years in human resources, 15 years of that in HR leadership and a lot of different industries. Julie, thank you for sharing your story. It resonated with me. I have been in your shoes and so completely understand where you're at. For sure, let's connect after this, and I'd love to spend time with you as well, personally. And thanks for sharing Janelle's story. And we're in lots of. I can look back at where I've been, and I was at a credit union as well, and so grateful for my time there and everything that I've done in HR. I have linked arms with facility teams my entire career. So I love what you all do. I know your passion is not only for creating a great, safe and wonderful experience for your customers, but also for the people that you get to work alongside every day too. So from an HR professional, thank you, and you all are amazing. So, but the different industries, banking, financial products, healthcare, nonprofit, outside of HR, I've done sports marketing. I was ministry director for a while at a church and also sold property and casualty insurance. So you just never know where your career is going to take you. I do have a passion for leadership, culture, and building resilient organizations and building resilient people within those organizations. You're going to see here in my presentation and today that those things we've been throughout, especially the leadership portion of it. And so with our careers, our career paths are changing. Career pathing is the big hot thing in HR. Used to be that we would talk about skills and how we're going to grow people with their skills, and really the focus now is really career pathing. Like Haley mentioned, our career paths are not linear. They are not linear. They don't go straight up. There's lots of pivots that people have within their careers. The idea of having one employer for 30 years, like my husband pretty much has had, it's disappearing. And honestly, this new generation within this workforce that are coming in, they aren't interested in that at all. They're interested in their growth and the development, and they want to experience everything this world has to offer. And for them, that does not equate to the same company all the time. And working at a company your whole career and also pivoting several years to gain valuable experience, both are normal and both are needed. They shape us with who we are. Also, Haley, I wanted to touch on this. I know you were talking about, what were you dreaming about for your future self? And I loved hearing all of the responses that we had. And I couldn't help to think whenever I heard all the responses, how really, truly what you desire to do in life typically does relate to the career that you're in, right? And so, for example, I heard someone say psychologist. I'm assuming that in your role, you probably feel like a psychologist to some degree too. People doing facility work, right? Teaching was one, and I can relate to the teaching. I wanted to be a teacher when I was 18 years old, and then I went to college, and I quickly realized, I don't think I want to be a teacher. I don't think I could do this. But now when I reflect on my career in HR, my passion for teaching definitely is there. And I love teaching and I love growing that other person. And so you said baseball. I'm sure baseball, like you're making connection with people maybe through baseball and sports, and that sticks with you. There could be times where a lot of athletes, I hear them talk about their career and they take those principles that they learned within their sports that they did, and that really does create who they are and their personality within the role that they're doing. And so hold that into yourself and know, like, even though you were dreaming about that, it's not that you probably pivoted and strayed away from your future self that you dreamed about, you probably are still actually doing that currently today. So, again, though, most careers don't evolve, or they evolve, they don't take like this straight path. So I have a question for you. As you entered into your career, what was it that helped you accomplish your dream? As you were 18 or even 25 or 30 or 40, you know, every time you entered that phase of like dreaming, what do I want to be? Where do I want to go next? What helped you get there?
I had mentors along the way.
Yes.
Every time I came up to a milestone in my career, I had mentors saying, Chris, you need to do this, or this is what you should do. So mentors, connections, I think we talked about that earlier, played a huge part in getting me to where I am today.
It's great.
Mine was pretty much the same. People and resources.
Yes.
Mine was a willingness to say yes, even when uncomfortable. So
Good.
willing to try new things, even if it wasn't quote within the job description. But again, back to that adaptability piece.
Right. Excellent.
I've learned to invest in people. We live in a world that everybody wants to promote themselves,
Yeah.
but very few people want to promote somebody else. You find somebody that wants to invest in you and lift you up, make you a better person. And you'll find somebody that many times will be very loyal along the road.
100%. Thank you.
I'd say to go along the investing in others, doing that with the future generation too. I do that with our students through Big Brothers Big Sisters as a big sister. But how you act towards them and how that relationship is with them is going to pass on to their next generation and so on and so forth.
I would say that mine's from knowing other people and mostly knowing people through IFMA. I could do a testimony myself about being Doge and the whole thing too. But I will say that I've surrounded myself with people who know a lot of things, who know more than I do. And I feel like I'm a phone call from the answer to anything. I was president in 2005, and that's one of the things I used to say was, ask me anything, because I don't know the answer. I can find someone who does.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Those are all excellent. You are all spot on. That is exactly what it takes to accomplish what you're dreaming of. It takes people, it takes relationships, neighbors, friends. It takes mentors. It takes being a mentor, surrounding yourself with other people. You know, a lot of that helps us with learning and development, like growing ourselves. And one thing that as I was reflecting on this, I put in here was grit. It takes a lot of grit also to accomplish personal grit for us to accomplish where we need to go. Okay, I'm going to show you some staggering statistics. As I was doing this research, I was quite surprised by some of these statistics. So raise your hand if you agree with this. Some of them were challenging, but 53% of professionals experienced career disruption in the past year. Yeah. 50% of workers will need reskilling in the next few years. I think all of us can actually agree with this one, because the theme that I hear over and over so far as we've been talking, 85% of jobs are filled through networking. You're right. I can say the same thing. Every job, it really has been about networking. And this is an interesting and very scary one. For those that are looking for employment, 75% of resumes never reach a human reviewer. So the average professional now changes jobs every 4 to 5 years. And job security today, it's not about tenure, it's about adaptability. I heard somebody else say the word adaptability. I don't remember who, but that it is about adaptability. So we need to be adaptable, whether we're looking for a job change or looking to stay where we're at and stay relevant. We constantly need to be adapting. And so today, that's what we're talking about, preparing for our future selves. Our companies, they provide opportunities, but we need to manage ourselves. And as we're talking about this, here's where I'm going to weave in some of my leadership, my passion for leadership. So as I was preparing for today, I couldn't help but to keep thinking about the 7 habits of highly effective people. When I was thinking about building our resume and our networks and all the things, all these habits just kept popping in my mind. I was fortunate early in my career to have a wonderful boss and mentor who first exposed me to the 7 habits of highly effective people. And I know so many people have gone through it, probably everybody in this room. Raise your hand if you're familiar with it, if you've read it. I know, it is a classic, tried and true. So perfect. Here in a little bit, I have 2 books we're gonna give out. You guys probably already own it, but take someone alongside you, maybe someone that's younger that hasn't experienced this, and walk through this book with them. So Rochelle, you can grab these anytime you want to. Rochelle will pick and choose how she passes them down. But just a quick recap for you all, if you haven't gone through the leadership book for a long time, the 7 habits are: be proactive, begin with the end in mind, but first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, synergize, and sharpen the saw. So I hope today that you all will kind of think of your career search and bring in these habits for you as well. They're leadership principles, but they're also habits that are powerful for a career. Okay, so our habit 1, we are going to be proactive, right? We're going to take ownership of our career. We're going to start moving into more practical things. So we're going to track accomplishments, build relevant skills, and we're going to grow and expand our network. You all have a piece of paper in front of you and a pen. So we're gonna do some work here. So I have an exercise for you. I would like for you to write down 3 accomplishments that you've had within the past year. And I'm going to give you all a minute. I'm going to time ourselves. So I'm going to give you a minute just to write down 3 accomplishments that you've had within the past year. Okay, 1 minute's up. So now I'm going to have you dig just a little bit deeper, go a little bit further back, and write down 3 more accomplishments. At least you can write down more if you have more that come to mind. Write down as many as you can in the next 2 minutes. Accomplishments that you've had within the last 5 years. It takes a little bit, doesn't it? It takes a minute just to think through that. So I'm going to reset and start our timer on that. Think about what problems did you solve? What impact did you have? Results maybe that you drove? There should be lots of smiles on your faces too. You all should be very proud of the things that you accomplished. Okay, as we're finishing up and getting closer to our 2-minute mark, it is important to be like proud and also humble at the same time, right? But you should honor the work that you did. And if anyone would like to share, Julie, you did a great job sharing what you accomplished. That was fabulous. And wow. And would anybody else like to share some of the great things that they've accomplished in the last 5 years? Doesn't have to be where you're at now, it could be with a different organization. Yes.
Over the last 12 months, I've read a book a month.
Oh.
Set up.
It's like, you're in the books now.
I would challenge you to take that book and read it with another person. Relationship. That's really good. Any other accomplishments that anybody would just love to throw out there with what they've done?
So mine comes in a kind of a, no, you're fine. Mine comes all together with my first 3 accomplishments, and then how I looked at those the last 5 years is I started seeing the move and the switch in the job sphere and how things were going, and I knew something was coming and overcoming a pandemic and all of that. And then leveraging myself to learn AI, to learn CRMs, to learn sequencing, to become the absolute expert in my field, which helped me come to the position that I'm currently at. So
Excellent.
thank you.
Excellent. Very nice.
I know.
And inspiring.
Yeah.
That's part of like sharing this is it inspires others, right? Yes.
So I went from like 5 years ago, not even being in this industry, being in Springfield, Missouri, playing in life and health insurance, playing in the bartending world, to accepting my first director role before I was 28. So, yeah, and I love this world. Plan on staying in it a long time.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, we are going to move on to the next habit. Keep track of that piece of paper. We're going to come back to it. We're going to work on it a little bit more. What you wrote down, those are the building blocks of your resume. And equally important are the building blocks of your credibility within your organization as well. All right, habit 2. I'm sure you all remember habit 2, begin with the end in mind. And so this is an interesting habit because if you don't remember, I'll just kind of quickly reshare. This is where the book was talking about what do you want people to say about you at your funeral, right? And as we know, funerals are memories that are typically around when people accomplish personally, but also professionally. So we're going to focus just professionally for today. It's a great exercise to go through. You've done it in the past, to go through it again and just see if you're aligned both personally and professionally with a statement. So I'm going to ask you to take that same piece of paper and add to it and write down what would you like people to say about you 5 years from now in each of these areas. In the areas of skills, reputation, relationships, and career. Okay, as we're coming close to the end of our 2 minutes for that, could people share? You guys are so great at sharing, and sharing, I always say sharing is caring. It's really helping people to kind of think differently as well. So anyone like to share? Yes.
So I can yell loud. Hear my voice. Okay, so I'll kind of preface that, my background is in nonprofit and I had a big career shift from nonprofit to engineering firm about 2 years ago. And it just so happens that engineering firm is within family. So when I kind of thought through this, the skill, I just kind of did one for each one. So for skills, I said needed. My position was created, so it wasn't around before I kind of took it over. Reputation, paving my own path, again, with kind of firm that's family based relationships is connector. Always being willing to connect people with other people, and then career is okay.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else comfortable with sharing what they wrote down? All right.
Yeah, I'm comfortable sharing it. It's pretty good. For skills, I wrote that, I would like people to say that I sharpen my skills as much as I limp my skill. I do believe that information is power and it's empowering. So when I'm with clients, when I'm with junior salespeople or junior account managers, I'm giving them as much of my skill as I possibly can while sharpening my skills based on what they're giving me back. And so hopefully that's what someone would say that.
Excellent. Great. Yes.
I put down, he invested in me, he prayed for me, he made me a better person. He challenged me to be more, to look beyond myself.
Love that. Love that. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, we're going to come back to your papers. So we'll be back to that. We're going to move on though to habit 3, putting first things first. And so what are you doing today that your future self will thank you for? You all are here today as in the facility realm of managers, directors, facilities, and all the different capacities. And so right now we're going to kind of put on our hat and said facilities, but a future focused professional. So ask yourself, what do future focused professionals prioritize? So first things first, we're going to put first things first. What are different things that you should be prioritizing? You might be prioritizing, or you may have a desire to prioritize, but what is the first thing that you want to put first as you're thinking, being prepared for the future? Yeah.
Retirement.
So financial goals, right? Yes, retirement. And what does retirement look like now? It looks so different than it used to. So different than it used to, right? So a lot of times your retirement looks, for some people, it looks like vacation mode. And some people are like, oh, no, it looks different. I don't have to worry about money. I'm going to just go and invest in people and organizations and things like that. So you have to think about, what does retirement look like for you? What does that vision look like? Yes.
I found exercise has been something that has helped me across every facet of my career, doing stuff consistently and feeling good every day about, when I start the day. So I think exercise, and I think my future self will definitely appreciate that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to talk about that at the end on sharpening the soft too, right? That is really good. Yeah.
Certifications,
Certification.
Gaining of certifications.
That's so good. It's so important. And that's putting first things first. Like if you know you want to go from here to here, a lot of times you need the right certifications or the education. Yes.
Well, for me, as of April 10th, my job is being phased out. So with the monies that I will be getting, my number one goal is owe no man anything.
Uh-huh.
So that is the number one priority in my life. on the immediate side. Secondly, is to have some sort of income coming in, other than Social Security. I want to reinvent myself somehow, some way. I'm looking at the possibility of going back into teaching. Obviously, facilities is an opportunity. Been doing that for 25 plus years. I love working. I love working with people. I'm going to do something like that.
Excellent.
I don't know what, but I enjoy life. And I'm not quitting.
Good. Good. Excellent. Yeah. Okay.
I have great support from my neighbors and my family. And I don't have the answers, but I haven't got does.
And you know, there's things that you gotta put first things first.
Yes.
You have to put to get even to there where you're headed. You're preparing yourself right now. And so some of the things that I thought about too, relationships, you touched on relationships, right? So let's make sure we have our relationships in place and added visibility, right? So for where you're going and where all of us want to go, you know, we do have to have visibility. So what does that visibility look within your organization? Also outside of the organization, relationships and visibility. Bobby, you mentioned exercise. So one of the things that I decided to put first things first was I wanted to develop some more relationships in my life and have more visibility. And so I knew I needed that inside my organization and outside. So when I started focusing on outside, it was just a little bit of a different challenge for me. And growth opportunity was part of mine too. And so I started golf. I started golfing, right? And then after I did that for 3 years, I'm still golfing. And I added tennis into that because I knew like practicing those things for me personally outside of work was going to keep my skills relevant and sharper with my career as well. And so when you golf and you play tennis, you're building relationships, you're meeting new people. They put you golfing with people you don't know. So it is really great way to gain that relationship and visibility, you know, joining, you know, different things like this, right? Outside of work gives you that visibility. Inside of work, you are a remote worker. I'm not sure, is anybody here remote? We have a few people, you know, just that's one extra layer that you'll have to be thinking of, like, how do you be visible? What's your visibility look like when you are a remote worker? You know, how present are you in Teams meetings and video meetings and even showing up, I know, in person as well. And so those things are important. And then, yeah, growth opportunities both, right? Easy inside and outside of an organization. Look for those growth opportunities. We're going to actually jump in though and do something a little more tactical and talk about having our resume ready and also LinkedIn, which are really important things for our future selves to be thinking about. So our resume strategy. So resumes have changed so much over the last few years. Julie, you're in the midst of it right now too, and I recently was as well. And so resumes have changed. So on your resumes, they should show impact and they need to focus on results and measurable outcomes now. Leadership experience, the impact on the organization metrics. It used to be like on my resume, it would say managing HR programs, right? It was like a repeat of the job description. And anymore, that's not what people are looking for. They really hiring managers and organizations, they want to see what was the bottom line impact that person had where they were? And that way they can see that you're focused on making that impact for them. So for me, I changed that to lead HR strategy, supporting multiple locations, launch leadership development initiatives with a 70% participation rate. And then it gives also you to have the opportunity in that interview to tell the story and put the color behind it. How did you do that? What did you do? What drove that? And so it really sets you up nicely there. Okay, so we have another exercise for you. What I'd like for you to do is go back to our habit 1 and where you just listed, and maybe you had a list of accomplishments that you had. And what I'd like for you to do is add to that, add some measurable outcomes, add some metrics, add impact to the organization. And so take a few minutes and go back to what you did. And I know we're supposed to have our phones away, but this is a great opportunity to use AI. AI is ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you use. It's always fun to throw it in there and say, how would you reword this? And can you add some metrics? And it really will like jumpstart your thinking too. Don't feel like you have to do that today. If you want, you can, but I'm going to give you a few minutes to go back and add some results, add some metrics.
So Janelle, while they're doing that,
Yes.
how do you balance the use of AI on a resume or words that you're using versus your original, where it's on the flip side, you know, those HR professionals will go, oh, this is an AI script. I can tell we're not going to use that.
Absolutely. So, and that's on our next slide. We're talking about that AI here next, and it is a great question. So, as you're writing those things down, I'll kind of share a little bit about that. The AI is, some people are using AI where they're having AI create their whole resume from scratch. You don't want to do that because your resume will look like everybody else's. And you don't want a resume that like you're popping the job description in there and saying, make my resume. Because your resume will look like everybody else's. And I've seen several LinkedIn comments from recruiters that they have said, hey, I'm not going to look at this resume that I just saw 5 of them that said the exact same thing. Well, those people, that's what they're doing. And don't do that. So you create your resume, just like we're doing today, right? From there, absolutely, you do need keywords on your resume that are on the job description that you're applying to, because we just saw that crazy statistic with how many resumes are having a human touch. Not many, right? It's all going through AI first, and through the ATS, the applicant tracking system first. Our recruiters today, some roles, they're getting 200 applicants and some are getting 1,000, and a recruiter cannot look at every single one of those. They're relying on in the ATS for the ATS to magically say, here are your top 10 candidates for you to look at. And so you do want to upload the job description, upload your resume, ask your AI, whoever you use, and for AI, and, please give me, what are gaps on my resume for me to consider? What are keywords that are missing? You should also not only just upload the job description, but take the link to the job description and put it in there as well, because AI will know that ATS, every ATS, applicant tracking system, this is me putting my HR hat on, a little bit different. And so it looks for things differently. And so that AI will know, oh, okay, for this ATS system, it's actually, this is what it's going to take to get, it needs to have this word 3 times in there, or 4 times, or whatever. So use AI, it's important, but don't have it create it for you. Even after you do that with AI, it'll spill out like all of these words. You still want to make it you. You want to humanize it and make it you. It still needs to match the tone of who you are. And so, yes.
So from my personal experience from HR, I hired someone. The resume said one thing, interview, they talked the talk, they probably used AI to help interview them. And when they actually had to do the job, they're like, I don't know how to do that. And it was a rude awakening, and we had to have a candid conversation about, you listed this on your resume. In the interview, we had a conversation about this. You stated that you understood how to do this, and now you're telling me you don't know how to do this, and so we've had this conversation, and they're like, well, I thought I knew how to do it. I thought I had done it before. And I'm like, thinking you could have done it, but actually doing it are two different things. So just make sure when you're putting something in your resume, that you understand what the words you're using and that you actually are going to be able to perform this when you actually get into the job, because that's the quickest way to lose a job too, is to get into a situation where you promise that you can do it and then you're unable to deliver on your promises. So.
Like actors.
Yeah.
I'll also add, I just redid my resume, like multiple different resumes for multiple different opportunities. And the biggest way that I've utilized checking your AI is writing what you need to write, but utilizing it as if you were working at a newspaper and it was an editor.
Yeah.
Or you were doing a research paper in college with friends and you were having them edit your paper. That way you're still keeping it you as well.
Yeah.
It's a question. Oh, sorry. Whoa. So it's more of a question in regards to the previous slide, like the difference between the resume. There you go. Yeah, the instead of and the change to.
Yes.
So maybe I'm aging myself here, but back when I first started creating resumes, I had it on the instead of, if you sort of were like quick bullet point, and then you had your cover letter to sort of give more of that, expand on, like any of your, like you said, like things that you did well or whatever. But to me, this feels like a merge. So one, is cover letter even a thing now? Because it doesn't even show up in front of a person, like you mentioned. And two, does that mean that, you don't necessarily give like bullet points, that it's more like a conversation?
Correct. Good catch on that. It is a merge between the two. Rarely is your cover letter going to get looked at, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're
So
just,
don't even do
they
it.
don't have do it though. I would say err on the side of doing it, because if that recruiter is saying, hey, give me my top 20, they may have time to look a little bit more deeply at the cover letter. The cover letter again humanizes things a little bit more too. I mean, your resume needs to humanize it, but that cover letter might help a little bit. And there's some people that they'll require the cover letter and they just want to see, did you go the extra mile? And they're not going to read it, but it shows that you really wanted it, right?
So can I expand a little bit?
Yes.
So I feel like I tend to try to find, in some cases, you get told to be quick to the point.
Yep.
And then on the other side, it's, oh, you need to expand because you have this moment to make an impact on like the person who's reading this. So I guess that's where I struggle sometimes, is shortening my sentences and making it, without a bunch of fluff words and also, doing this. And so it's like it's the dance, I guess. And that's where I
It is a dance. It really is.
I just went to like another talk that talks about shortening your emails, shortening
Using AI, shorten your emails.
Yeah. So it's just,
I agree. It is a dance. The thing about it being longer on a resume, AI is reading it first, and we want AI to like grab it. And from there, a recruiter doesn't mind reading and reading a little bit longer bullet points, because they're not reading 200 anymore. They're reading 10.
So how long should a resume be?
So a resume should be, it should be 1 to 2 pages. So it just depends on how much experience, right? What I would say, the key to that too is you want to keep it relevant. So the work experience needs to be relevant for the job that you're applying for. But we all know, as we talked earlier, there's other things we've done that is relevant, right? So, those things, though, you don't need to have bullet points explaining everything that you did in that. So, for me, I did property and casualty, insurance sales. That's just additional experience that I have, and it provides a little color to my personality, right? So they might be like, oh, okay, she did sales and she's done marketing, oh, and a lot of HR, versus, okay, she's done a lot of HR and maybe accounting or, policy or something. So they're able to read between the lines when you put that additional experience in there too. So, but you don't need to put bullet points for a lot of the basic things good question.
What about the thank you note?
Yes.
Today?
Yes. So we have a thank you note. Do you respond with a thank you note? Absolutely, right? We need to be gracious people and grateful for people's time that they spent with us. And so that thank you note, a lot of times you should have somebody's email address that you can say, hey, forward this on to someone, or if you did a Teams video, you have that person's, email address from there. So send a short email address, just showing them gratefulness, gratitude for the time. If you get the no thank you, definitely you want to respond to that with grace and gratitude as well. And even, I would say, go out there and say, hey, do you mind if I connect with you on LinkedIn? Right. And so they can only hire one person typically. And there's so many amazing professionals out there, and you could have been number 2 and it might have been a hard decision, and you bet they want to stay connected with you. So you want to do that, add your credentials, humanize it. So exercise 2 that we went through with who do you want people to say who you were, at the end, that is who you are as a person. So be able to weave some of that into a personal statement. AI it really is. It'll help you with skill development. It'll help you with gap of experience. It'll help you practice interview. So give you practice interview questions. But remember, with all of this, 85% of jobs are filled with relationships. So these things are important, but you really do need to keep yourself out there, building those relationships, whatever that looks like. I'm going to move on to our LinkedIn strategy. We are running long, so I'll pick up the pace just a little bit. LinkedIn strategy, it's really important. This is like basically a mini website for yourself. So you want to create your personal brand here. The colors matter. What colors do you want to have that represent you? Think about what colors make you happy and make you smile. Put those on there for your banner. Use Canva. I know most of us probably do have a Canva account. The free account has LinkedIn banners on there. So, and they're done for you. You just download it. It's easy. You have like 50 options. And you can also, if you're really good at it, you can create your own. Create a strong headline in your LinkedIn. Use AI to help you with that. You do need a professional photo. So if you don't have a professional photo, as much as we don't like taking pictures of ourselves and putting those up there, it is really important. What's the saying? You never have a second chance to create a first impression. Sometimes that LinkedIn is the first impression they're going to have on you. So spend some time polishing that up. Get a great headshot available, just to pop in there. Think about that headshot. If you're looking for a job that is more buttoned up, and you always want to dress one step ahead of where you're going, you might need to wear a tie, right? But it might not be relevant, because some people might see a tie and be like, well, that's not who we are, right? So business casual is typically the best policy for your LinkedIn photos. The big thing is that visibility. You want to just keep yourself visible. Another LinkedIn thing, comment on people's posts. Get out there. The more you comment, the more your name will show up for other people. And it's all about those logarithms that are out there. So comment, like, reshare. If you're not on there a lot, all of a sudden you're on there every day, people might be like, whoa, what's going on, right? So pace yourself, with what's comfortable, and that matches, your social, tide there. Okay, so, and then, we're gonna jump in and do habit 4, 5, and 6 really quickly. Think win-win. What do we think of win-win when we're out here networking? It's a terrible situation we've put ourselves in, but there's a win to it, right? In fact, Julie, I heard you say, I'm gonna be intentional about the place that I pick. That's a win for you. That's a big win. And what does that look like? And you're exploring new things. So there's lots of win-wins in terrible situations, and it's important to have that mindset. What's going to be the win for me in this? Terrible things happen to us, but there's always a win, right? Seek to understand is our habit 5 principle. And so as we think about seeking to understand, we should be out there researching companies and researching their values and their mission and who they are, how long have they been in business, this person that you're going to be interviewing with, how long have they worked there at the company. Really seek to understand the role that you're applying for and making sure you're qualified, right, Rochelle? And just try and seek to understand, are they a good fit for you? Are they going to be a good long-term fit for you? Is it where you really, really want to be? And if you answer all of those things and all of it looks good, then we're going to work on synergize. And so synergy is so important when you're going into your interview process, and you're able to speak to the mission and the values and the job and the culture, and be able to connect all the stories of what you've done and your desires of what you want to do in the future with all of that. So the synergy will give you momentum. And so, but it does take, having that win-win mindset. So you're going in with that positive attitude, and it takes that seeking first to understand. So we got to learn, and then let's get that synergy going so we can get the momentum. Okay, and then the last one is sharpen the saw, habit 7. And so what I'd like for you to do quickly is to write down continuous growth matters. So write down real quick, what do you want to do moving forward with sharpening yourself professionally, mentally, physically, and socially? And then I have one more exercise after this. So we are really close to being done. I know it's 1:06. And you might do this later. I'm going to move us on into the next slide. I had here for you to discuss at your tables, but we can't do that. Run along. Stay after, discuss at your tables how you answer this question, though, just to inspire each other. And then our final exercise I have for us, and this might be something you do today or write it down for later on today, take a photo of it. Write down 3 people that you should reconnect with, write 3 skills you should develop, and write 3 actions you want to take within the next day for your future self. Professionals who thrive are the ones who prepare before change arrives. Take care of your future self, stay curious, stay connected, and keep learning. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. So we wanted to also talk about, sometimes people are concerned about, and this won't take very long, but concerned about, well, I don't think I have enough stuff for my resume.
how do I add more things to my resume and build this up? And so we just want to take just a couple minutes to talk about some ideas for you and to help give you resources and stuff like that. The first one I want to talk about is, so training at work. Training at work is the free training. Usually your companies will have educational assistance that you can apply for, which you can get a degree or go through a program through university or a paid program. So talk to your HR department about if they have educational assistance that you can apply for and what are the criteria for that. Also see if they have any online programs. A lot of them have, like they outsource their training. So they'll have another company that you can log into and do some training exercises with. If your company doesn't have any of those things, there are free services available. One of them is through IFMA. IFMA does have certifications and we do have scholarships available. And I will tell you that last year we didn't use up all of our scholarship money. So if you are interested, let us know. We're happy to connect you with the scholarship committee and get you into a program. So keep that in mind. And then the other thing I wanted to mention for LinkedIn, you mentioned LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great resource. They have free classes, they have paid classes, but it's a way to up your skills. And then the last one I want to talk about is it's called Enterprise University. And it's a local bank here, but they also offer free classes. And the free classes are maybe more for on the sales side, but they do have a LinkedIn class that if you want to register for it, it's free. And so it'll talk to you about how to improve your LinkedIn profile and and how to do those measures. So there are free services out there to help you scale up your skills. The next one I wanted to talk about is like mentor and mentorees. I know Cheyenne had mentioned that she does Big Sisters, Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is a great. If you also, so if you're not mentoring or you don't have a mentor, I strongly encourage you to get one or to invest in someone else. It's a rewarding and it rewards someone else. So, I mean, if you get something from it by mentoring someone else, they're getting it's a win-win. So she talked about win-win. So I think that's a great resource. If you're looking for a mentor for facility management, let us know. We're happy to connect you with someone, or if you want to be a mentor, let us know. We're happy to connect you as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Haley, and do you want to give your top two real quick?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. So, just because we're running a little over on time, I will try and be quick on this, but I went ahead and, was gonna say, if you wanted to sit on a board, a nonprofit board, a lot of times it's to be around the nonprofit, being someone in the community that's gonna help the community, but also the people that are on your board are probably someone who's gonna have open doors for you. Another thing to circle back to LinkedIn, a good friend of mine let me know that if you post every day, you are part of the 1% of LinkedIn nationwide. So if you see me on there often, it is because I try that. It is hard. It is difficult, but no one knows what you're doing. And there's so many things that you're doing that people need to know, want to know, because everyone wants to be a part of something great. So those would be my big things to share with
So
you all.
Haley, let me kind of capture the nonprofit board. So you might think, why would a nonprofit board want me, or what value would I bring? I can tell you that people in the professional facilities world bring so much value to a nonprofit organization because they can't afford typically to hire a full-time person. So if you can sit on a board, basically they get free consulting. Even if you don't know what they need to know, probably somebody that does. So we all bring value. So do not shy away from opportunities. Oh, and by the way, you get to do something nice for somebody else. So thank you.
And then my last one would just be with networking events. So I go to networking events and I sometimes am terrified. You might not think that, but a lot of times, like when you go in, who am I going to talk to? What am I going to say? Grab a friend and go in as well. Or if you see someone that you want to meet, I would just go and just do it. Just talk to them about anything, their kids, the day, the weather. I was gonna be 80 on Thursday. Anyways, but thank you for today. This was amazing. The IFMA chamber is amazing. So thank you for welcoming me as a guest today. I appreciate it.
So grace and gratitude for Janelle.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Good for Rochelle and Haley. Tony, don't we have some more Starbucks gift cards left? So if you think that you contributed and you want a Starbucks gift card.
So asking you to take the Starbucks gift cards and go to coffee with someone or go to tea with someone.
Yeah.
Connect with
You
them.
have stuff
It's
that
a
you want to
great
say.
way. So if you want, even if you didn't contribute, if you want to take someone out for coffee, grab one of those. We'd love for you to connect.